Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. Well, as a lot of you know, last week I did a top 11 list of the worst Avatar episodes, with the understanding there's really no such thing as a bad Avatar episode, just some that aren't as good as others. Well, this week I'm going from the worst of the best to the best of the best. Avatar is one of the most amazing shows ever put on the air. Its story is intriguing, its characters lovable, its message is thought-provoking, its philosophy enlightening, and its animation incredible. So as you'd imagine, finding the absolute best of this series is no easy task. There are so many great episodes with so many great moments. But we're here to discriminate for the best, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So let's not waste any time and take a look at the top 11 best episodes. Why top 11? Because I like to go one step beyond. So, sit back and enjoy the top 11... What the Dante Basco?
You have dishonored the franchise and so have dishonored me. The time has come to reclaim my honor. You dishonorably dishonored me with my honorably honoring my honorable honor.
Okay, I have no idea what you just said right now.
Don't worry. You'll feel it.
Critic, what is it?
It's Dante Basco! I think he drank the cactus juice or something! Honor! He thinks he's one of the characters from Avatar. Go dress in the appropriate attire. Maybe we can distract him. Right. Look, it's okay. I'm doing a top 11 best Avatar episodes.
You don't deserve the chance.
Okay, look, maybe we can come to a compromise. I can give you a really glowing review and take the lead. Honor! 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 Honor!
Halt! It's time to fight fire with fire, and Sokka knows how to do it.
Arrgh! And us lost boys have to stick together!
Tamara, that's not Avatar. That's Hook. And why are you talking like a pirate? Why do the pirates talk like pirates?
Oh.
Now you need to try harder. I want you to go home, do some research, keep me updated on your progress, okay?
Okay.
All right, buddy, it's time to show you who's boss. Well, we'll show you who's boss, right?
Critic! Critic! Sorry, Malcolm. The needs of me outweigh the needs of you.
He's gonna kill me!
Well, that's show business for you. Just try to keep him entertained while I start the countdown. Bangarang! While they're lollygagging out there, why don't we go ahead and start the top 11 best Avatar episodes? Spoilers! Number 11. The Ember Island Players. The irony is, I was almost one step away from putting this on the worst episodes list, because in many respects, it has little to do with anything. Team Avatar sees the Fire Nation is putting on a play of their travels, and, even though it's phenomenally dangerous, they decide to check it out. What follows is a theatrical interpretation of their adventures, only it's done from an incredibly biased and exaggerated angle, f***ing all of them off.
My stomach is so empty that it's making me tear bend. This is pathetic.
There are one or two moments of emotional exposition, but for the most part, it's just watching the play. As an episode, little happens, but as a series recap that actually works its way into the show itself, it's actually friggin' brilliant. It's explaining everything that's happened on the show except with a comedic edge, making fun of theatrical tropes, story tropes, and even their own character tropes. Katara, for example, is too inspiringly emotional.
We cannot give up hope.
Well, that's just silly. I don't sound like that.
Toph is a giant male Neanderthal.
I release a sonic wave from my mouth.
And Zuko is always too much of an angsty sourpuss.
Let's forget about the Avatar and get massages.
How could you say that?
I think of all the other shows that do series recaps, and they're usually just clipped shows or something separate that just has a narrator telling you what happened. But they decide to take it in a different direction, actually incorporating it into the story. Truth be told, I can't think of any other show that has ever done that, at least in this clever a way. It incorporates the character's reaction to the whole thing, not just their own adventures, but to the villain's interpretation of their adventures, and their satire of both Broadway and movie styles. In fact, could this be interpreted as the character's reaction to the last Airbender movie?
That wasn't a good play.
No kidding. Horrible. You said it.
But the effects were decent.
This may not be the most important or dramatic of the episodes, but it is one of the most clever and funny. And on that level, it definitely deserves the number 11 spot.
So far, this intermission is the best part of the play.
Number 10. The Chase. This one is very similar to The Drill, where most of the episode is just one big action sequence. But the reason I put this one over The Drill is not only is the action sequence really intense and brilliantly planned out, but it also allows for character interactions you wouldn't normally see. Toph and Iroh, for example, share a touching talk throughout all the chaos, mostly because they have no idea who they are or that they're on opposite sides.
So, where is your nephew? Is he lost?
Yes, a little bit. I know he doesn't want me around right now, but if he needs me, I'll be there.
It's a really unique, relaxing moment among super extreme, intense panicking. Zuko fights Aang, Aang fights Azula, Azula fights Zuko. It's a Mexican standoff of all the coolest combinations you could think of. You just feel so sorry for our heroes in this one. All they want to do is get a good night's rest, but Azula's posse is constantly on their back, never letting up. This not only adds to the suspense, but also just what an all-around kick-ass villain Azula really is. She's a machine of evil, and she makes sure everybody knows it. Nothing seems to slow her down. The intensity just keeps going and going and going and getting more and more insane and crazy. It's just a huge rush. By the time it's over, you feel like you need a nap, which is exactly how the episode ends. While certainly not devoid of story or character, sometimes the best way to sympathize with your hero is just to put them in the middle of what they're going through. To feel that racing heartbeat, to feel that running out of breath. And in this one, you feel every second of that panic. The fighting's great, the layout's great, the characters are great. It'll make sure you sleep well after watching it.
So what's our plan? Don't know. Too tired to think.
Number 9. The Firebending Masters. After Zuko joins the team, he agrees to finish Aang's firebending training. The problem is Zuko's bending has gone downhill because he doesn't have the range he used to. So they have to travel to the original source. The closest thing they have is a civilization thousands of years old known as the Sun Warriors. The ancient ruins, however, have a lot of tricky booby traps that indicate something is still kicking. Sure enough, not only are there still people living out there, but holy dragons. Game of Thrones, this is the first one that dropped the dragon bomb.
These are the masters.
Still think we can take them?
Shh. I never said that.
However, just like in Game of Thrones, the reaction is exactly the same. You simply can't believe they exist in this world. You think you have a grasp of how it works because you identify with the characters so much and how they have a grasp on the world. So when they're surprised to see these things are still alive, you're just as shocked. On top of that, the episode does great at not only explaining how bending is an extension of oneself, but showing it. When inside the dragon's fire, they see various colors they didn't even know fire could make. It's the equivalent of going through the Stargate in 2001. It's beautiful and otherworldly.
They judged you and gave you visions of the meaning of firebending.
Few shows, especially family shows, can give that experience this large without having to explain it. But this one did. It just let the moment speak for itself. It was pretty memorable. It was a great episode for Zuko and Aang to work off each other. It was great for their explanation of what one's skills are capable of. And it was great for giving us one fiery hell of an incredible experience. Number 8. The Day of the Black Sun. This two-parter is probably the biggest battle the show has had, at least in the size of people and characters. Practically everybody you've seen in the show comes together to try and take down the Fire Lord. It's the day of the eclipse where all the firebenders lose their power. And this day has been built up for several episodes, at least half the season. So you can imagine what a heart-crippling stab in the it is to see every conceivable thing that can go wrong. The Fire Lord knows about the attack and is taken away. Azula is there to distract them, and she's pretty good even without her bending. And just when you think they're going to leave her and find the Fire Lord,
My favorite prisoner used to mention you all the time.
oh no, Sokka, don't listen.
She was convinced you were going to come rescue her.
Don't listen, Sokka. No, you got nations to save. Don't listen to her, Sokka. Don't listen. Azula, you're such an evil. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. The episode ends with everyone getting captured, except for our few young heroes.
We can't leave you behind.
The youngest of our group should go with you. The adults will stay behind and surrender.
And just when you think all hope is lost, it's just been one terrible moment after terrible moment, a huge twist happens. Zuko leaves his father to join the Avatar, leaving a glimpse of hope for their future.
I'm going to join the Avatar, and I'm going to help him defeat you. Goodbye.
Good God, man. Talk about an epic middle of the season. You end up hating the bad guys even more, but you get so invested in how the good guys are going to win the day. It's the perfect halfway point. The Empire Strikes Back of the final season. So much greatness destroyed, but so much potential to be born. That's one eclipse to remember.
It doesn't matter. I'll be back.
Critic, it's okay. I took care of Basco.
Oh, hey, great! I knew you could take him yourself. But wait, where's Malcolm? Malcolm, I can't believe you broke under pressure.
Sorry, I was weak.
You just can't get good help. Ah! Your aiming sucks!
So I thought I could bag me some more ladies in my cab. No! My cab, bitches!
There's gotta be something connected to firebending around here. No. Ah! Here we go! Woo! Honor! 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 Honor!
Hold it! All right, Dante, I think you've met your match.
No, Tamara, it's the wrong costume again.
No, but I'm a ninja.
No, it doesn't matter. We have a theme going, and we need to stick to the theme, understand?
I kind of like it.
Hey, this doesn't concern you. Now look, I want you to go home, do some research, and call me when you finally wiki something, okay?
Fine.
It's a good try.
Thank you.
Hey, don't encourage him!
You man! You stupid man!
Here, think fast!
So that's what happened to my mom.
All right, I'm gonna have to multitask here a little bit. I'm gonna have to learn how to firebend while also continuing the countdown. So, with that said, lesson 1, number 7. Zuko alone. Leaving his uncle Iroh, Zuko travels to the middle of nowhere on his own to discover his true path. Isolated from everyone who knows him, he befriends a small family who he constantly saves from a group of psychotic bullies. While doing this, we get flashbacks to a time when Zuko actually had a family, a happy one even. He tries to remember what it's like to belong with someone who loves you.
These are dual swords. Don't think of them as separate, because they're not.
I think you'd really like my brother Sensu. He used to show me stuff like this all the time.
Only to find the past will never fully let him go, especially when people discover who you are.
Not a step closer.
It's yours. You should have it.
No, I hate you.
Look at that, he saves this kid's trying to start over and be good again, but as soon as it's revealed he's the Fire Prince, he's an outcast once more. Man. This whole episode is like a movie Clint Eastwood would direct. You know, the ones where you see someone get on and in the end you just say, life sucks. But I mean that in a good way. The classic sort of Greek tragedy way. It's soaked in the poignancy and the sadness of the character. It's like something out of Frankenstein or a gothic novel. The journey of one who's truly lost and society may deem should never be found. Showing once again how the redeemable are not so easily redeemed, if even at all. You just feel so sorry for this kid. You know he's the villain, but you just want life to cut him a break for once. Well, a break that doesn't emotionally kick his in the end. Of course we know things would eventually come full circle for him, but in this episode, only the lost walk alone. Number 6. The Puppet Master. I'm sure for years fans have asked the question why waterbenders can't bend the human body, seeing how it's mostly made out of water. Well, the writers decided to give an episode right out of a Halloween story. Our gang comes across an old lady in the woods. She seems friendly and kind, and even seems to help Katara learn elements of waterbending she never thought possible. It then turns out they were elements she wished she never knew were possible. For when the moon is full, she possesses the art of bloodbending. Oh, doesn't that term sound so creepy? The art of bending a person to your every whim. She uses it to torture civilians and force them to rot away in a cave. And it's up to Katara to decide whether or not she should use this unnatural power to save her friends or to deny something so evil in its design.
Once you perfect this technique, you can control anything or anyone.
That's Tress MacNeille, the voice of Dot, giving one of a creepy performance. Understanding clearly why she's become this way, but also realizing she's transforming into something truly disturbed. The idea of controlling another's body doesn't seem that scary compared to other things in life, but the way they animate and describe it, it's almost like being possessed by a demon. You could almost argue that's what it is. It's just so unsettling.
I've never felt more alive.
The shadows are heavy, the angles twisted, and the atmosphere dark. It's a perfect episode to watch when you want to get your blood tingling. Number 5. The Guru. This is the episode just before the season finale of Season 2. And it does a great job balancing out calm and meditative spirituality with brooding trouble floating on the horizon. Aang's team appears to be safe in Ba Sing Se. Even Zuko seems happy having opened a tea shop with his uncle. So he travels to a wise guru to open up his chakras to better understand and control the Avatar state. The only problem is Azula and her gang are posing as Kyoshi warriors and are taking the palace over from the inside out. On top of that, Toph has been captured to bring her back home. This episode's intriguing in how one minute you can be in such wisdomly bliss and then the next you can be in such an uncomfortable place. Everything builds on top of one another. As one group is getting closer to peace, another is getting closer to tragedy. Again, the episode has a strong resemblance to The Empire Strikes Back. In fact, the similarities are almost downright eerie. Right down to the main hero leaving his training from his wise master to go save his friends.
Katara's in danger! I have to go!
If you leave now, you won't be able to go into the Avatar state at all!
Unlike most great stories, it doesn't feel like a ripoff, more like an understanding of when and where to put the most perilous moments. And the best thing is, the person who achieves victory at the end of this isn't one of the people we focused on throughout most of the story. It's not Aang, Azula, or even Iroh and Zuko. It's Toph, who has spent all her time locked in a metal box learning how to friggin' metal bend. Something that's never been done before.
I am the greatest earthbender in the world! Don't you two dunderheads ever forget it!
So, even though the whole episode is just building to the next one, it still has an amazing resolution for one of our characters, still giving us a self-contained uplifting ending, while also delivering a creepy cliffhanger. Again, keeping in the bizarre mix of the episode's tone. Whether mindful enlightenment or dreaded anticipation, this episode knew how to get us excited for what was coming next.
This can't be good news.
Aha! I think I got it!
What an engaging read.
Alright, you Filipino Benjamin Button, face the power of my firebending! You know, I loved you in Slumdog Millionaire. Wait, no, that wasn't you. I'm sorry, I always confuse you with... Ooh. Ah! Ow. Oh.
Your fourth wall chokes won't save you!
Finally put these comments to some good use. Flame War! Uh-oh, I'm out of ammo. Joss Whedon is overrated! Wait, don't do it! You're gonna hit the commercial tab button! Okay, number 4. The Southern Raiders. After joining the Avatar, Zuko has yet to find comfortable ground with Katara, who still feels betrayed by his actions in the previous episode. So, he gives her the one thing she's been seeking most, revenge for her mother's death. He manages to locate where the soldier who murdered her mother most likely would be, and they set out to find him and deliver the justice he deserves. Upon locating him, she finds he's nothing more than a sad, pathetic waste who is willing to throw his own mother under the tracks to save his own life.
I did a bad thing. I know I did. And you deserve revenge. So why don't you take my mother? That would be fair.
There's just nothing inside you. Nothing at all. You're pathetic and sad and empty.
Please spare me.
In the end, she finds killing him would solve nothing, but in an interesting twist, especially for a family show, she doesn't forgive him.
Forgiveness is the first step you have to take to begin healing.
But I didn't forgive him. I'll never forgive him.
Usually this would be a big no-no for arguably the most ethical person on the show not to forgive someone. But in this case, they make it very relatable. It doesn't say whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing, it's just how she feels. And feeling that way is totally understandable. It's a clever as well as powerful compromise. Mae Whitman, the voice of Katara, gives a great chilling performance in this. And the animation and visuals support her struggle beautifully. You understand everything she's going through, yet are still surprised at some of her actions. Especially when... Oh my god, she's bloodbending. She's bloodbending. Holy we had a whole episode about this. You're not supposed to do that. Oh my god, this is getting real. This is also a great moment in seeing Katara and Zuko finally come together. And not in that way. Sheesh, what's wrong with you people? He's got the emo goth chick. They'll be happily miserable together.
I'm never happy.
It's powerful, it's emotional, it's the perfect way to follow through on years of bad blood. Number 3. The Crossroads of Destiny. This is what the Guru was building up to, and it didn't disappoint. While the first season finale was open-ended, it did still seem to wrap up a lot of things for the most part. The season 2 finale, however, leaves everything in shambles, with big surprises popping up, hardcore action scenes, and pretty much the destruction of everything our heroes were supposed to protect. Azula puts her plan into motion to seize the city of Ba Sing Se by manipulating the leader of the guards, leading to possibly my favorite Azula line of all time.
You've beaten me at my own game.
Don't flatter yourself. You were never even a player.
Oh, God, what a She's so awesome. She also captured Aang's friends as well as Zuko and Iroh, giving Zuko the option to come back home if he agrees to destroy the Avatar with her. Well, Zuko seems so happy with his tea shop and his uncle, surely he won. Oh no, Zuko! No, Zuko, you're not supposed to do that! You're not supposed to do that, Zuko! Come on, you were happy! You smiled! Look, you smiled! That never happens! Why are you doing this? Zuko, no! You're giving up Jasmine tea for this! Jasmine tea! It's not even that Zuko made the switch, it's that he betrayed his uncle. His uncle who was with him through thick and thin. The guy who never gave up on him, even though he took him for granted so many times. What the backstabbing? And just when you think things couldn't possibly get any worse, Aang is told that if he's killed in the Avatar state, the Avatars will never be reborn again. And what ends up happening? If I could borrow from my Chris Tucker folder here.
Oh, no, that did not just happen. That did not just happen. No, wake up, Aang. Wake up, Aang. No, this is you were the last airbender. You were the last Avatar. No, wake up. Wake the up, Aang. No, this ain't happening. This ain't happening. Drink some jasmine tea, Aang. Jasmine tea!
Now, of course, Katara saves him by bringing him back to life, but dude, for a second, we thought the Avatar cycle was dead. That was a pretty scary moment there. So, we leave on a note where not only are the heroes beaten and torn, but the villains have taken over even more land, the possible ally has turned back into a villain, and they are hunted more now than they have ever been throughout the entire series. That is harsh. This show knows how to do a good cliffhanger. You had to wait a whole year until you figured out where this was going next. It was cruel. It was sick. It was friggin' awesome. Yeah, it had us by the but we were just too curious to see where the they were gonna take it.
The Earth Kingdom has fallen.
Number 2. The Storm. While the first season up to this point was mostly action and fun, this was the episode that made fans realize there was something more to it. Something rich, something deep, something that took a lot of thought and could be executed brilliantly. The Storm dives into the backstories of both our hero and our villain. Both are told around the fireplace during a thunderous rampage outside. The perfect setting for talk of epic tragedies. Aang reveals how he was told he was going to be the Avatar, and how he ran away knowing he would have the weight of the world on his shoulders most likely during a time of war and death. Iroh tells us Zuko's backstory, about how he was a well-meaning young man who called out the motives of a general which resulted in a duel. A duel, he didn't know at the time, that was against his father. Ashamed and afraid, he refused to fight, resulting in the Fire Lord burning his face and banishing him. Within one episode, everything falls into place with these two characters. Everything that could practically be understood about them is suddenly understood. They may be enemies, but they're very similar. They're ruled by the bad choices they made in the past, and their guilt decides their actions. While one hides behind fun and games, the other hides behind ruthlessness and discipline. Two different but similar outcomes from two different but similar starting points. The episode ends with them exchanging a look. It's only for a second, but the connection is definitely there, whether they realize it or not. Confused, naive innocence staring down confused, emotional anger. It's a chilling moment and one of the show's best. This was the point for many when they realized this wasn't just a smart cartoon show, this was something that could leave an impact. Something that had a plan, something we were feeling more and more was in outstanding, downright genius hands. We became confident in where it was going, and we couldn't wait to see where it was going. It was exciting, it was new. It was a totally different turn that the show hadn't taken before, and it only got us more excited to see what was coming next. And the #1 greatest Avatar episode
Prepare to meet the great Melon Lord in the sky.
Oh, how the can my body take so much abuse? Wait a minute, Dante. I only have one episode left. The greatest Avatar episode of all time. Wouldn't it be more honorable if both you and I talked about why it's so wonderful?
But then you wouldn't be punished.
The only one you're punishing is yourself, man. I mean, look at you. You look like the Karate Kid with pink eye. You're trying so hard to show off the best of Zuko for the fans when really we should be thankful there even was a Zuko to begin with. You don't need to do that. You're already beautiful, Dante Basco. You're awesome. You don't need to put on this show for us. So what do you say, Dante? Stop with the Zuko and get with the Yu-Yo.
You had me into that last line.
Yeah, that really killed it.
The rest is pretty good, though.
Thank you. So what do you say, man? Can we do this?
The number one Avatar episode is...
Sozin's Comet. Not just one, but the final 4 parts of Season 3 that clearly flow as one perfectly told episode.
The turmoil of all the main characters are addressed. No one is overlooked, and everybody is given a strong and satisfactory conclusion.
From Zuko reuniting with his uncle, to Toph, Sokka, and Suki performing their biggest mission, to Azula slowly descending into madness.
And of course, Aang's dilemma in whether or not he should kill the Fire Lord.
So much is built up and all of it is relatable and suspenseful. We don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, so we're right there with the main characters fearing what could be lost.
It's everything an epic conclusion could ask for. It's exciting, romantic, funny, suspenseful, and showcasing the best animation the series has ever offered. It pulled no punches.
With that said, there were some people that had some issues with the climax. For example, some people didn't like how it was Katara and Azula who finished the final battle as opposed to Zuko and Azula.
But remember that Azula cheated in trying to harm Katara, which is very fitting of her character and her deteriorating mental state. Zuko still fought honorably, making his sacrifice, allowing Katara to give Azula what she deserved.
Some also take issue that Aang's defeat of the Fire Lord is a bit of a deus ex machina and didn't teach any tactical lessons.
But the show is not just about teaching morals, it's about spiritual understanding, reinforcing a philosophy that as bad as things get, even over a long period of time, balance will eventually take shape again.
Aang's choice does almost consume him, and in the end, he had to find another route that nobody thought possible. He crossed over and created an alternative that wasn't even on the table, as if the world was so out of balance that this was inevitable. Yet, it was still Aang's choice and risking of his life that made the transition possible. Only one question was unanswered.
Where is my mother?
Now available wherever good books are sold.
It's an engaging read. But aside from that, everybody gets the ending most wanted to see for their favorite characters. Nobody's left out. Everyone is given the most fitting ending that the show could give.
You felt like you watched something not only massive, but important. And in a medium where TV shows so often either go too long or end on a bad note, Avatar stayed just as long as it needed and ended on the absolute perfect note possible.
The size, weight, and passion are all there. Everything the show was building up to felt perfectly delivered.
This episode, more than any other, made us realize this wasn't just a show. It was an experience. An experience none of those who watched and loved it will ever forget. There. Now wasn't that fun to do, Dante? Dante?
Now, I admit I was spending too much time focusing on being Zuko, instead of focusing on what's really important.
There now, you see? Isn't it so much better just to be yourself?
I guess. Or, Ha! The American Dragon Jake Long. What up? What's the dealio? Don't be all mean beans, boy!
I got it. I finally got the right costume. Oh, you, Dante Basco!